Hi, my name is Dave, and today on my quest to beat everything, we return to Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. We pick up where we left off at the end of last video, having discovered Theodora's dead body, and before we progress, we're just going to make a few changes to our equipment, namely some equipment for Edelthrad. We'll start by equipping him with the Helm of the Devoted Protector that we picked up off of Mort's body. This grants him immunity from critical hits for the first 3 rounds of combat. We'll also equip him with the Grace of the Oblivious. His intelligence stat is just low enough to gain the +5 to the toughness bonus here. Unfortunately, we can't equip this onto Kassius because he has exactly 35 intelligence, which is right on the threshold, and in this case it's not, equal to or less than. It is specifically less than. With that, I don't think we have any other changes to make in terms of equipment, so let's progress forward and onto the bridge. Firstly, we'll loot this little bag here that's next to the galaxy map for some cargo. And then we'll interact with the lore test on the galaxy map for a little bit of extra dialogue. Following that, we'll progress over to Edelthrad.
The first sacrifice opens the eye. The second sacrifice draws its gaze.
Traitor! Right when we needed all forces to deliver a decisive blow, you stepped aside. Do not even try to claim that my vox casts did not reach you. I sense the mark of the warp on you. An echo of the powers that are ravaging this ship. What is it? The aftermath of the terrors that you had to face? Or an admission of guilt?
We'll give him a cheeky little grin here.
Shameless filth! How dare!
Let us leave this conversation for another time. Master Edelthrad, it is with great sorrow that I inform you that Lady Theodora von Valancius is dead.
What? You? This is your doing.
Master Edelthrad, no! We have remained in each other's sight ever since we broke free from Kunrad's schemes. The Lord Captain was killed by another's hand, and by the Golden Throne. I can surmise whose hand it was.
No matter what ritual Kunrad is performing there, the warp is too strong. I cannot withstand it. I feel my body changing with every second. The warp is ringing in the air. This is the end. We will perish in the warp, along with the Warrant and all the dynasty's heirs. The enemy of humanity has triumphed.
I've seen it before. We'd better get away from him. The changes are already accelerating.
Perhaps the warp does not have to be the end.
Enough talking rubbish. The navigator's alive and ready to take the ship out of the warp, if he gets some help from the bridge.
Then we have no right to bow our heads.
Seems Kunrad is up to some mischief over here, and that's quite an enticing blade he's got in his hands. Might have to get me one of those.
We are out of time.
We'll play the role of the good heir here.
What? Theodora is dead? No, that can't be. Not now. I still haven't.
I will not die quietly alongside one who is a traitor to his blood. If my last service to the Imperium is to rip out the throat of an enemy of humanity, then such is the God Emperor's will!
Edelthrad, don't!
As always, no one listens to Abelard. I'm sure nothing can go wrong here.
Your ritual won't be finished, heretic!
Well, that's not the most ideal outcome, but that does start us in a position here to gain our first achievement of the series. This achievement requires us to not allow the Chaos Spawn here to feed off of any of the heretics that are nearby. The arena has 6 of them, and the easiest way to get this is to simply kill all 6 of them before the Chaos Spawn has a chance to use the ability that consumes them. So this is our chosen starting formation. We've got everyone forward except for Idira, who's going to hang back. As always, we'll start with Iron Arm on Kassius.
I need no guidance.
We could use our charge immediately on the guy right in front of us, but I think it's probably better to move in to him first and get into melee range. Get a melee hit off immediately. And then use our charge on the further away guy just to get some extra damage on the board. Unfortunately, he does dodge. Then we'll end our turn with an Endure. Moving on to Idira. She's going to analyze the Chaos Spawn.
But of course.
We'll then cast our forewarning on Abelard because he's going to be holding down the Chaos Spawn while the rest of the team deals with the cultists. And then finally we'll Chaos Shriek the guy in front of us. We don't want to take out too many with Chain Lightning because we want to leave Revel in Slaughter open for Argenta. Speaking of Argenta, I'm going to move her forward slightly.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone.
We'll start off with a burst fire on the 2 in front of us. All but one shot hits, leaving one of them barely alive, so we're going to use Run and Gun here. And we're just going to do the same again.
Each strike is a prayer.
Unfortunately, only finishing off one of them. The heretics will then take their turn, getting a few shots off, but one of them taking 10 damage from an attack of opportunity from Kassius. Abelard, we're going to just charge this heretic at the back, staying in melee range of the Chaos Spawn. Following that up with a melee strike on the spawn. And finally an Endure to end off his turn. Chaos Spawn will then act, casting Manifestation and Rending Scream, as well as hitting Abelard, knocking him prone unfortunately, so we are going to miss his next turn. The remaining heretics will then move around, not really achieving much. So we're back to Kassius, who we're just going to send down here after the lower heretic. We're going to move in a bit closer so we can get a charge. Fortunately there's a dodge there, but we'll follow that up with a secondary strike, which doesn't miss. And as always, an Endure to finish off the turn, and we'll pass on to Idira, who's going to once again cast Forewarning on Abelard, just to give him a little bit more survivability while he's on the ground. Following that up with another Analyze Enemies on the Chaos Spawn to get a few more exploits on there. And then we'll just end our turn and get back to Argenta, who we're going to send first after this heretic, hopefully finishing him off with a single shot, which thankfully we do. We'll use our remaining actions to then reload and pass our turn. We'll then speed through the enemy turn, so the heretic will shoot, Abelard will stand up, the Chaos Spawn shoots acid at Idira and then strikes Abelard twice. The other cutthroat tries to move away and is attacked by Kassius, who then on his turn is going to move a bit closer so we can get a charge off on the Chaos Spawn, leaving enough space for Idira's burst fires. We'll then cast our Endure and follow that up with a shot from our Inferno Pistol. 50% chance seems pretty good. Not good enough. And we'll pass back to Idira. We're going to move a little bit closer to Argenta here.
There is movement in the Imperium.
We're going to analyze the Chaos Spawn once more.
Will do.
And then we'll do a Psychic Shriek on him, before casting Forewarning on Abelard for a third time. At the start of Argenta's turn, she takes some bleeding damage, but we're just going to move her down these stairs to hopefully finish off this last heretic, securing that achievement for us.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury.
And then we'll finish him off with a burst, which is enough to finish him off, and that secures us the achievement. We'll cast Revel in Slaughter.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
And then Run and Gun.
Doubt is for the weak.
Move our way back up these stairs, and now we can focus all of our attention on the Chaos Spawn.
I'll do it.
From here, I'm just going to speed the combat up a little bit more because it's a lot of rinsing and repeating the same steps. A lot of melee strikes with Abelard, some Inferno Pistol shots with Kassius, the classic end of turn Endure from both of those, some burst fires from Argenta, and the odd Psychic Shriek from Idira. We'll ignore the fact that she doesn't quite survive the fight, but it's alright, she bounces back pretty well. Argenta, despite her dislike for Idira, does attempt to heal her at one point there, but to no avail.
I will triumph. One step closer.
The witch has fallen. Leave her to rot.
And finally, with one last burst from Argenta,
I'll do it.
we drop the Chaos Spawn, and there's the first achievement of the series unlocked. Don't touch this. Playing on Daring difficulty or above, do not let the Chaos Spawn consume any cultists at the end of the prologue. So now we'll loot the Chaos Spawn, but we'll be very careful not to pick up the Blade Shard here, as not picking it up here leads to a opportunity to gain 3 more Heretic Conviction points later on. Nothing else to loot, we can then head over here behind the galaxy map and meet up with the survivors of the attack.
Is dead.
Namely, the Helmsmaster.
Master Helmsman, systems status report.
By the Emperor, it's the Seneschal, living and breathing. Well, there's a tricky question. The old place is so overgrown with foul wickedry, we'll be scrubbing it off the vid screens for throne knows how long.
See if we can figure out how these people managed to survive in here.
Must have been Providence. It better have been the Emperor's, not someone else's. When they barged in here, the ones with the Master of Whispers, some officers charged them, but it wasn't even a fight. I grabbed whoever I could and dragged them behind the cogitators. Then, I prayed for our rescue.
Now let's re-establish contact with the Navigator Sanctum so we can get the hell out of here.
Restore the Vox channel to the Navigator's Sanctum. Ready the crew. Prepare for translation to real space. You may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard rules. You are the only one who speaks for House von Valancius. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take her place in the ritual that is about to commence.
Take the Lord Captain's seat. Order the final preparations. Wait for the officers to report and... blast it all to the void! Translation is a craft, not something to be explained in a tick. Just go up to the throne, Master. These people are about to do the impossible. The least they deserve is the solace of seeing a figure sitting in the usual spot. Please, hurry. Every second we waste is a terrible risk.
I am ready. Begin the ritual. And just when we thought things were going to calm down a bit, Theodora, from beyond the grave, decides to pop in on a visit.
Did you stand in the path of another's destiny only to steal it? You accepted the call of the primordial truth and claimed that fate as your own. So be it. I wove the threads of destiny and held out my hand to you when the flame arose in your path. You took it, and in doing so, sealed your fate. In the future, you will repay me for this boon in full.
You know, I've got this nagging feeling that this isn't actually Theodora.
Indeed, for the boundless truth encompasses all. Merely one part of it reached out to you. And answer you did. you could become the new champion.
The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy, a relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured, and the steps chosen. And yet, you broke the unbreakable when you took the aspirant's place. I see you. On the day when the final dawn rises over the Iron World, I see you by my side on that day. The day of my resurrection.
Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. The thread that will guide you and the weapon of our return to me.
The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven. Follow it, servant of mine.
I should really lay off the am a sec.
Seneschal, the Navigator's sanctum is silent. The Vox signal is stable, which means...
The Navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the von Valancius flagship. We will honor his memory, along with that of all who died this day.
Seneschal, will you tell us now? Who is that? Where's the Lord Captain?
As First Officer, it is my duty to inform you, with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow, that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty. By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision, it is hereby declared that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful inheritor of the warrant of trade, and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim, have you lost your tongues? Hail your lord. It is because of his toils that we all still live. The deed is done, Master. My apologies. I meant to say Lord Captain.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost. Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained. For the second in line to the Rogue Trader dynasty survived. At the cost of many sacrifices made by the Lord Captain in the name of his own ambitions.
And with that, we've unlocked the second achievement of this episode, and that's just from completing the prologue. From this point forward in the game, a lot of the dialogue boxes aren't voice acted, much like this one. So in cases like this, I'll be paraphrasing a lot of the dialogue that happens. Here, Abelard is telling us about how a lot of the officers perished in the attack, and we now need to meet the new ones. So let's see, why did we lose so many? It appears that the heretics were deliberately targeting the vessel's command. It's almost like they knew. Maybe that was Kunrad's doing. What's on the agenda for this meeting? It seems to be a report on the condition of the ship and crew. Normally the Lord Captain isn't needed in these briefings, but these were unique circumstances. But first, let's see if there's been any success tracking down Kunrad. Unfortunately, doesn't look like it. He managed to get away in all of the frenzy. So, with that out of the way, I think we can start the briefing. Let's summon the officers. Abelard, much for station and pomp, expresses to them how much of an honor it is for them to meet me. So let's have him introduce all of those present. He starts off with Toileman, the Voxmaster. They are responsible for all of the communications to and from the ship, and within the ship itself. Next up is Master Helmsman Ravor, who we met at the end of the prologue. They're, of course, in charge of steering the ship and flying the ship. Following him is the High Factotum, Janrus Danrock, who is overseeing all of the procurement and general material needs of the ship. Then we get on to the three vital officers. So we've got the Master of Ordnance for artillery, the Infernus Master for fires, and the Drives Master for the engines. Pretty straightforward stuff. It seems not everyone was able to join us. The Choir Master, Zachary Weiss, is currently preoccupied. Along with Zachary, it seems that the Master-at-Arms and the Confessor are also absent. The Confessor looking after the funeral for Lady Theodora, and the Master-at-Arms is too busy leading the search for any remaining heretics. So, wasting no more time, we'll get straight to the questioning. Let's first hear from the Infernus Master. He's able to report that all fires across the decks have been extinguished, and the material loss and crew casualties have all been reported and passed on to the High Factotum. It seems this Infernus Master was fourth in line, and all above him perished in the fires. The High Factotum here adding that they've been toiling day and night to account for all the losses, the main loss here being the 2,000 crew members. And he suggests that we petition the governor of Ricard Manoris nearby to replenish our crew. This planet is under the influence of the Winterscale dynasty, so we have to be careful when petitioning the governor. We wouldn't want to cause any more troubles. The engineer here reporting that the repositories for hundreds of machine spirits have been damaged, and they have yet to identify a prayer protocol capable of assuaging the sorrow and anger. It seems that the Engineer Prime also fell in battle, so we will need to find a replacement for him, otherwise we'll not be able to fire the engines. Moving on then to the helmsman, he lets us know that the ship is sound more or less, but without an Engineer Prime and a navigator we will not be able to make our way through the warp without suffering even more casualties, so that should be our priority. And here the Voxmaster makes us aware of a Navis Nobilite station where the navigators are housed. That also exists in this system, luckily enough, so we'll be able to go there and hopefully procure ourselves a new navigator. Ravor here recommends that we do that as soon as possible, otherwise we might drift ourselves into an asteroid field, which we wouldn't really like. Lastly, the Master of Ordnance reports, and he forgets himself, claiming there is no Lord Captain, which Abelard very quickly reminds him of. He blames the fear that has overcome him with everything that has happened. It's here where the Master of Ordnance says that he has heard of me. Apparently my fame has reached even this far into the Expanse, and he announces that the battery itself is in good order. We are ready to fight if that is our will. So to summarize, we have sustained serious losses in crew members, we require a new engineer and a navigator, and that seems to be everything that's preventing us from leaving here. Abelard does confirm that, and suggests that once we get everything back together, we head to Footfall for a proper inspection of the ship. Finally, the High Factotum brings to our attention the Implantation Throne, which is a thing that was added in the latest DLC to augment our characters. We will most definitely be making use of that later on. And in the background, the Voxmaster here is explaining the system that we find ourselves in. The Navis Nobilite station is failing to answer any contact. There was a distress signal from a prison planetoid, and also Rykard Manaris itself doesn't seem to be responding to any voxcasts. So, the situation isn't particularly encouraging, but I think we can dismiss the officers and progress on. Finally, Abelard approaches us with a confidential matter, specifically about the letter that we found on Lady Theodora's desk in her chambers. That was signed XC as one of the Inquisition. The XC standing for Xavier Calcazar. It seems we are to seek out his right-hand man, Heinrichs van Kalox, somewhere within this system, and take him to Footfall in the Furibundus system. Abelard believes that the authorities on either the Navis Nobilite station or the governor of Rykard Manaris himself might know something about this. And with that, we have concluded our officers' briefing. But as we find out, the life of a rogue trader is full of surprises, and Idira and Argenta rush over to us. It seems that Idira is suffering some sort of ailment or dark madness, and Argenta had to supervise. But she was also going to approach me with a request, so we'll have to see what that is later. Idira starts spouting some nonsense about Daybreak. So let's see if we can make her come to her senses. It seems that she was looking into the future to see if she could ascertain anything about us, and all she could hear was Daybreak. As Abelard says, there's not much we can really glean from this, so we'll have to go and speak to Idira later to see if we can get any more information out of her. And she does invite us to do just that. So, with nothing else to report, the briefing comes to an end, until we're approached by the High Factotum, who brings to our attention some of the trophies that were found after the scuffle that we had in the warp. And it seems he found a strange blade fragment. This is where we chose to leave that behind after fighting the Chaos Fiend. So here we have a heretical choice to take it off of him, which we will do. Finally, conversation has come to an end, and we find ourselves back in control of our rogue trader, and we've also leveled up. So let's quickly deal with that level up. For the rogue trader, we're going to take warp saturation, which is the other choice that we didn't take earlier. This gives us some toughness while under the effects of psychic powers. And we're also here going to take a weapon skill upgrade. Moving on then to Abelard. We'll keep it simple here and take Hardened Scars, which increases his deflection while under the effects of Endure. And we're going to also give him a weapon skill increase. For Idira then, we're going to give her the characteristic increase for ballistic skill. And for her talent, we're going to give her the second sight talent, increasing the range of her psychic powers. And then finally for Argenta, we're going to take the ballistic skill increase. And we're going to give her the rapid reload talent, which will reduce the reload cost by 2 AP, which is quite strong. And with that, I think we come to a good ending point for today's episode. We achieved a lot today, 2 achievements, the first 2 of the series, and many more to come. As always, if you enjoyed what you saw today, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. I plan on getting another episode out in about a week from now, maybe a little bit sooner, depending on my schedule. I'm also thinking of potentially moving this up to 2 videos per week if I can get things edited in time. But with that said, thank you all again for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.